Photos of large-scale funeral processions in Turkey appeared on the web. The Telegram channel MASH has published a number of images showing large-scale funeral processions for the victims of the earthquake in Turkey, reports World News. According to the Telegram channel, due to the scale of the tragedy, religious leaders allowed part of the funeral traditions to be abandoned. For example, instead of a shroud, the dead are buried in ordinary bags. The expert of the Supreme Council for Religious Affairs, Sirasetin Yildiz, explained it this way so that the living do not become infected with some kind of virus. Gender separation at funerals was also temporarily cancelled. Several people were allowed to be buried in mass graves at once. Also, near a dozen graves, plates with numbers were installed. So they marked the places of those who did not have time to identify before the results of the DNA analysis. According to the latest data, the death toll in the country has exceeded 22,000 people. At the same time, many bodies have not yet been identified. Erdogan's political fate may rest on his response to the earthquake. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan meets with people in the aftermath of a deadly earthquake in Kahramanmaraş, Turkey on Wednesday. Presidential Press Office/Reuters. Editors note a version of this story appears in today's Meanwhile in the Middle East newsletter, CNN's 3 times a week look inside the region's biggest stories. Sign up here. Abu Dhabi, Ülkenen. A devastating earthquake in southern Turkey could change the electoral equation for Turkish strongman President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, who hopes an upcoming election will extend his rule well into a third decade. While the 68-year-old leader faced the strongest opposition yet to his presidency, the 7.8 magnitude earthquake, which also hit northwest Syria and sent aftershocks across the region, could be a game changer for his political career, analysts say. Erdogan has been visiting impacted areas, consoling victims and pledging to rebuild the thousands of flattened homes. On Tuesday, he announced a state of emergency in the 10 hardest-hit provinces of the country's south, many of which have traditionally supported him and his AK party. But there is disgruntlement with the government's response in those areas, where some people complain that scores of bodies are yet to be collected, causing the stench of death to spread. There are no organized relief efforts in here, Sinan Palat, a 28-year-old car dealer in Hatay province, told CNN. There are so many bodies in front of the hospitals, there's not even enough shroud to cover them. Cemeteries are full. What are we going to do? Throw the bodies of our families into the sea? It's not what we expected and hoped. Under these conditions, we're not hopeful about the future.